Good evening, welcome back. We have got our last match of the evening here for you. Aware Gaming taking on Ahead Gaming. And we're going to see one match between these two teams. Which one will take the win? We don't know yet. It's going to be up in the air because both of these teams have performing pretty okay. I say okay because we just saw, of course, Aware where they were not so okay in the end because they kind of lost. Of course, we're going to not be only hearing my voice. We're going to also hear G Advanced voice, my co-caster. Welcome back.
Yep, sup, I am back. Like you said, both these teams, I think they've been performing pretty well in the tournament. That said, I mean, like you said, this is a 20k prize pool tournament. I don't think anybody would put these up to win that. And they have been struggling as far as actually getting the wins, but they've been so close both times. I want to see these teams go up against each other, so I'm glad to actually be here for this game.
Because even though I said that they were doing okay, I actually meant they were not doing
They're
so
doing
great.
okay in games, but they're losing overall.
Yeah, because they haven't gotten a single win yet in this tournament.
That can be problematic.
Yes.
I hear there are issues if you lose continuously.
Yes.
People might see you as a loser.
Yeah, so it's going to be basically
Reserve time.
who is going to be getting that one win today, because one of these teams is going to get at least a 0 out of the way and going to get one win there, as we have got an Ember first ban here for Aware Gaming. Lycan removed, of course, as well as the Invoker Naga. We don't really have to be surprised by those, as we do see Centaur first pick up by Ahead. We have also seen the Bane Mirana combination. Actually, Aware is doing the same thing as they did previous game, I guess, or at least as Meteor Makers did against them in the previous game. Let's just put it that way, because they were the ones to first pick the Centaur in the previous game. But we still have AA and Dazzle in the pool. Last game, we didn't see them picked up. We saw actually Dazzle banned and AA completely ignored. Let's see if Ahead is having the same plans as Aware had in the previous game by picking up a Visage. No, a Naban, rather, next to the Centaur.
Remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Aware, I like what they do here. They don't get the... Whoa, that's interesting, but...
That is definitely
Aware,
not an
Dire
Abaddon.
team ban.
it's not an Abaddon at all. It's a very different style of hero. I mean, it's very aggressive. Centaur Tusk is like one of the oldest of old school heroes. It was like, I remember when Tusk was going to be added, and everybody I knew was just like, play Tiny and Centaur with him, because you can just do dumb stuff with these heroes. They can go very aggressive very early on. They can get kills. They're not sustainable, though. Not by any stretch of imagination. They'll eat through their regen incredibly fast. They're both melee heroes. They don't have great armor. They basically just have to go with kills if they are running these two together.
Yeah, they have to. Timbersaw picked up by Aware. Now, we've seen
Radiant
Timbersaw
team
earlier
pick.
today, and it didn't do so well against the Centaur, so let's see if it maybe gonna get a bit more lucky this time. And, I mean, it is a Timbersaw that has got, of course, that Whirling Death, and there's 2 strength heroes so far on Ahead, so they have to be careful not to pick too many extra strength heroes, otherwise Timbersaw is gonna have an amazing game here. A fun game, at least. Of course, so far, also, both heroes are melee heroes. So we'll see what they end up going
10
for that.
seconds
2 supports
remaining.
banned out by Ahead, 2 mids banned out by Aware. Now, I'm not
5
expecting
seconds remaining.
Mirana or Timbersaw to be a mid hero for them, so what hero would they want to pick up
Reserve
now that the
time.
Puck and the Storm are removed from the pool?
There's a lot of different options for them. I think generally, though, if I was Aware right now, I would wait and see a little bit more about Ahead's lineup, because right now, obviously, their lineup is very tanky. They do have the Timbersaw to deal with that, but you don't really want to pick up a mid hero who wants to snowball right now, because Ahead can still go, well, fine, we'll just ignore the Timbersaw, and we'll still continue to pick up tanky heroes. So that's something they don't want to do. They don't want to pick up a hero right now who's reliant on getting kills, and Ahead are actually going for a very unusual lineup here. I'm
They want to
surprised
silence.
already. I mean, one hero with the Tusk, that's already weird enough, but Skywrath Mage as well?
Well, to be honest, if you can get a Frost Shard on someone and land on top of the Frost Shard land the Mystic Flare, rather, that's pretty strong. And, of course, the Instant Silence for Timbersaw is very good as well.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't bad heroes, not by any stretch of the imagination. The big thing with Tusk and Skywrath Mage is they're just not
5
played very
seconds
much.
remaining.
And whilst that's nice for you because it means the enemy team are not going to be as used to dealing with them,
Reserve time.
it does mean, there's generally a reason, and oftentimes it's because these heroes are slightly harder to execute. Skywrath Mage is pretty much countered by BKB and Force Staff and things like that. That silence, though, like you said, it will be very useful versus the Timbersaw. It's also great for ganking the Mirana, as her leap means nothing if you just silence her up. So I'm liking where Ahead are going with this now. I want to see what else they're going to have as a sort of sustained backup for them. I almost feel like even a hero like a Weaver or something might fit up into this lineup. Somebody that can chase down heroes that get away from them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those, or at least Weaver, picked up either. But on the other side, I mean, more run at you heroes? How about Axe for Ahead? Put him in a snowball.
It's doable, but at this point I would worry that there are, a large number of heroes who are strength heroes versus a Timbersaw. That hurts you a lot. And the big thing for me is that right now Ahead have a great lineup for just instantly bursting 2 or 3 heroes right at the start of the fight. Just instantly wipe them out. They need somebody else to chase after that point.
They actually could still go for Dazzle. I wouldn't mind seeing that one in the lineup of Ahead. I mean, I'm
that
going
would
to
be
assume
good
for
too.
now Skywrath is a support. He can also be mid, he can be support. It's really 50-50 from my point of view, but for now, let's assume for the moment that he is a support because you do want him on the lane with a Timbersaw. You want to be able to kill him off early. As a Windrunner actually picked up Ranger. Did she actually say Windrunner at your service?
I actually have no idea as far as how she says, she still says some stuff that is Wind Run, but mostly it's Wind Ranger. I think she says Wind Ranger at your service, and Ahead here, this is an incredibly unusual lineup. I mean, Wind Ranger, not a hero we see very often picked up. She's pretty nice, though. I think she'd be good in a solo mid position for this team. Of course, if they're forced to, she can go for a support role or, even an off lane or something like that. I think probably more of a solo mid, but yeah, Ahead right now, they just have ridiculous burst damage right now. Nobody is going to get away from them. If they get out of position versus Ahead's lineup, you're going to instantly die.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the Morphling pick, though. I mean, he can work out great, but at the same time, he does take some time to get up to par, and Mirana Bane is already strong with just abilities.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I mean, Morphling, he does have so many issues. He's very mana reliant. He needs, he either needs to go E-Blade and go purely for kills, at which point he's very vulnerable, or he gets a Linken's and then he's not quite so good at killing. It's interesting to see what he'll go for this game. I think it's all for me, though, about how Ahead lane this, because the thing is I mean, we're not even talking too much about their draft, because it's fairly standard stuff. Windrunner is a little bit unusual. You don't see it picked up that often, but it's a stable hero, and it looks like they're actually going to go for a TA here. I think this
that means
TA
Wind Ranger support or a Mirana Bane
it is
roaming?
Yeah, it's gonna. It could be the Mirana roaming. I think generally though, people would say Wind Ranger a bit more reliable as a support than a Mirana, and less reliable as a farming hero than a Mirana. So it makes more sense to have her in a support role.
I have to say, I mean, Centaur and Tusk combination with a Skywrath Mage. Normally, you say like Centaur, he needs level 6 and he needs his Blink Dagger. He doesn't need a Blink Dagger when he has a Tusk. You can just snowball.
No, definitely not. Not this game. They don't need as much in the way of core items because their abilities make up for that.
Yeah.
That said, they're putting themselves at great risk by doing that. Snowballing in with Centaur and Tusk together, it's a very easy setup for a Mirana Arrow or something like that. Sorry?
It's YOLO.
It's pretty YOLO. It's a big YOLO place. I was confused then. I was like, what? I thought it was like background noise or something. It didn't sound like your voice almost. I was freaked out.
That's understandable. I do that to people. It looks like we're going to have maybe an aggressive tri-lane. I wouldn't mind that. Aggressive tri-lane with Tusk, Centaur, and Skywrath Mage. Viper mid, Morphling safe lane. They have just switched all their names around, so we don't know exactly who's who. Although... and they have set, I believe, most of their profiles private, so that's also annoying. But Viper and Morphling can both be solo. We could even see... No, Viper is going to be up against a Templar Assassin. I think that's pretty clear. Let's take a look at who is playing what, because that might also tell us a bit more about lanes for ahead. So I'm going to start with Aware, because they are the most straightforward team in this one. We've got Yamaha playing the Mirana. Going towards the top lane will be probably will be a safe trial lane, with Stress playing the Bane as a support, Roger a support Wind Ranger. Lolik will go into the mid lane on his Templar Assassin, and Hakon will take on the Timbersaw on the off lane, and that is going to be his solo off lane. And this is straightforward I find it fairly safe and fairly predictable in terms of what kind of plays they want to be making here. I guess Ahead is the wild card here in this match.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, this is traditional style Dota. They don't have a proper hard carry on the side of Aware, but they do have good damage, and they have things like minus armor on the Templar Assassin, so they shouldn't worry too much about their scaling this game. It looks like they might be running the TA on the safe lane here, but on the side of Ahead, it is going to be what looks like an aggressive tri-lane with the screen here. He's going to be on the Tusk. Laquier, I don't know who these people are, because like you said, private profiles. He's on the Scarith Mage, and oddly enough, the Morphling, played by Kapar, is going to be on the aggressive tri-lane as well. In the solo mid for the team, it is going to be Necroman. He's on the Viper, and solo safe lane, Seema the Slayer on the Centaur Warrunner.
I think that this Tusk is pretty familiar in playing Tusk. Look at his items. He's only got 2 First Bloods, but nonetheless he's like 300 punches. He's got 182 kills.
Wow!
And he's got a mythical glove with the Tusk.
I never check items like that.
Changed name, Udar Klishko. Udar Klishko. I don't know what it means, but someone's punched, probably.
Something along the lines of punching.
Case letters has cap locks pressed while typing. Invisibility for screen, so he's going to be your human ward for a little while and could actually be body blocking some of the camps spawning. But yeah, aggressive
he could, but I think they'll just go for a kill. Yeah, aggressive tri-lanes with Morphling. I mean, the great thing about Morphling is, of course, he does do a fair amount of damage, even early on. He's so very vulnerable, though, and already we were talking about how this is pretty much a YOLO lineup from the side of Ahead here. They're running a Tuskar. I mean, it's one of the heroes. He literally just snowballs into the enemy team. He literally just dives. So
and they swapped lanes for Aware. Look at this. Lolik is actually dodging the Viper lane. Is now being supported by Windranger and he's playing of course Templar Assassin. And we've got ourselves a dual lane Mirana Bane mid up against that Viper, who's already getting harassed by being enfeebled. So he'll have some tough time last hitting. So that's going to be a bit of a switch up for Aware as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a smart thing for them to do, but the problem is they don't have this Bane in the tri-lane, so they have no way of getting kills. They're very vulnerable here, and the Silence might come out, although they actually haven't skilled the Silence.
Well, Refraction came out way from over the top as well. There's a lot of damage output coming out on Lolik, but is it enough for the First Blood? No, it's not. Salve coming out, and Lolik will live. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing, is that with only 2 heroes up on this lane, even though it is a very unusual tri-lane, it does have good kill potential. You can't really approach it either, because Scarith Mage, of course, is a great hero for harassing supports back, and even Lolik will struggle versus him.
Necroman, you're dead. Brain Sap, maybe? No, there's level 2, but no Brain Sap. Doesn't matter though.
Oh,
Necroman
nice body
is still
rush.
dead. First Blood goes way of Bane, who actually gets the last hit in. So they knew they needed to make a play if they wanted to take the First Blood away from that top lane, because I think they're expecting someone to die fairly soon.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think Stress here, I mean, he's claritying out for the moment, because otherwise he can't do anything, but he's actually maxing out Enfeeble, so yeah, he's going to stay on this lane here versus Necroman. Necroman's not going to get any farm here. He's got 0 damage. He literally can't even hurt the creeps right now. He heals people, but yeah, for me, the big problem is that right now, Aware, they're not getting anything on this Templar Assassin.
Yeah. I have to say, I do love that Bane gets the bottle from Mirana and, you know, is the one that ferries it back and forth and has the rune control. And uses the runes then as well. So Haste Rune now for the Bane will allow him to harass a bit more even, if need be. Or, at some point, run top, make sure that something happens there and create some space for Lolik, perhaps even.
Yeah, I think that at some point they have to do some sort of rotation. Whilst it's nice that they get the First Blood and they shut down the Viper, Viper isn't exactly a great scaling hero. Morphling really is, and they're not doing anything to deal with him right now. He's the second, and now he's pretty much at the top of the farming. Otherwise, I mean, the bottom lane here, it's pretty much a wash. Centaur Warrunner versus a Timbersaw. Neither of them are going to kill each other, probably. Not at least until Timbersaw has 6, and before that, they're just kind of farming against each other. It looks like Timbersaw's a little bit ahead. Yeah,
overall, it's a bit of a lane going the way of Hakon, who actually has got a shield, so that helps him a little bit as well. Well, Seema just finished up his Tranquil Boost, but he has to be so careful because he drops it on the floor. Oh god, that's going to be... that's nerve-wracking. He has the help from LaQuiette right now. Let's see if they can take him down. The harassment comes out, but there's not going to be a stun from Seema, and he doesn't want to die of the creeps because that's just too much harass coming out. LaQuiette has to be careful here, though.
Yeah, surprised they decided to. I'm surprised they decided to send the Skywrath Mage here because until he has his level 3, so he can pick up Ancient Seal, they can't kill Hakon here. There's no way they can kill him. I mean, they're trying to, but he's gonna live.
Stun. There's a double edge as well. If they just have the damage, but oh, maybe one more hit, couple more is needed. They at least take off the salve, so that means that he has only got 4 tangos left. That's all the regen in his inventory, and he's actually gonna walk all the way back. So. It's not even that bad because it gives a lot of time for Seema to level up. I'm not so sure about those Tranquil Boots though. I know that Centaurs normally built them, but ever since it changed, I just don't like them anymore. He's just putting them down, getting a last hit, and then picking them up again and making sure that he can continually get the regen, but he has to be careful because stress can come in and he can actually snipe those boots away, and that's all your farm gone.
Yeah, I mean, Tranquil Boots, like you say, they're not great if you actually are fighting and stuff and you actually are hitting people, but it is pretty much the only efficient way he can regen enough to survive against this Timbersaw, and yeah, I think it's probably the right decision. It's basically it's one of those things. If you're not continuously dropping them and doing all that clever stuff, they're probably not going to be worth it. Not on a hero who's actually trying to last hit.
Yeah, and I think they scouted out Bane, so that's going to be Seema actually putting his boots on cooldown and pulling the wave back so that he can get some solid experience. In the meantime, Morphling is 24 to 12. And there is a Lolic Templar Assassin on 13 to 3, and on top of that he is still a level 3 while Morphling is level 4, so that's a big difference there. Very big difference indeed.
Yeah, and this Morphling, he's just going to be able to do so much more in the way of burst damage. Right now, the nice thing for Lolic is that his refractions are going to protect him. If he didn't have refract, if he was a different hero that was, pretty similar, he would die instantly in this lane. So it's nice that he has that, but if the Skywrath Mage decides to come top again, or, he's going to go maybe mid, even go for a gank, but he's basically their only one trying to, set up some ganks for them at this point. And that is something they need, because ahead, I feel like their lineup, they still need to try and get these kills in the early game, especially because Necroman got crushed in the very early on. He is catching up on the last hits now, though.
Yeah, it's, he's getting some extra last hits. You mean the Viper, right?
Yeah, Necroman.
Yeah,
he's the Viper player.
Yeah. I was a bit confused there for a second. But that's also, of course, because Bane left him. In the meantime, there's a Shackle here on screen. They're trying to find Lolic. He's already silenced up. The Moonlight Shadow coming up at the top. A big-ass snowball, though. Is it enough? Where is the AoE damage? They don't have them. In comes the Teleport for Stress. He's level 4 only, but they could set up something with a Nightmare. Shackle will hit. Screen. Trouble. Brain Step. Only level 1. They're not even going to use it. Nice Moonlight Shadow, though.
Yeah.
That is Marana level 6. Paying off. And an
Yeah,
arrow,
and
actually
she's
hasted an
gonna
arrow.
arrow.
Ooh,
Ooh.
almost gets Seema. The right clicks, leap forward, Starstorm, double stars will take down that Centaur. Nice pick up there for Yamaha, as they have the same kind of Greevel again. So smoky and scary.
Smoky, scary Greevel. Whereas ahead just have a flying chicken with the jetpack.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, by the way. I think it's
Nothing
hilarious.
compared to the smoky, scary Greevel ghost guy.
I'm not gonna lie, that smoky, scary Greevel just looks a bit messed up. Like, it's just weird.
But just weird enough to be scary and not weird enough to be buggy.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't want
It's
to
a pretty
run into him late at night in a dark alley. Just saying.
I feel like I wouldn't trust him delivering packages for me. Which is exactly what a courier does. Would you trust somebody that, like...
I
like,
would
was all
trust him more than a
smoky and
chicken.
weird? It's a highly trained chicken. It can fly a jetpack.
Yeah, but this Greevel is at least scaring enemies away from not taking it down, because nobody wants to take it down because it's utterly scary and people don't want to see it. At the moment they see it, like, and run. Oh,
That's true,
top
but...
lane, Roger. Are they going to be able to do something here? No, they're not. Never mind.
Yeah,
This
Morphling is just...
is good. He is going to be okay by himself right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly going to get much in the way of farm here. They're spending a lot of time waiting in the middle lane here to try and go for a kill. They're going to go on Yamaha here. This is difficult, though.
Oh, well, with the snowball coming in, the leap away is still going to be there, but is there enough damage? Nope, I don't think so. In comes Hakon, they want to take down Necroman, and then comes the Stampede. Is it enough? One more hit needed, an arrow will fly, will not hit on anybody. Thank you for making my words true. That was pretty damn close, though. In the meantime, that Stampede also made Morphling a bit more active, but he might be regretting that decision. He is actually selfing up, bottling up. He's gonna get forced away. His self also ticked off, but he's not gonna die. Nobody actually dies. 2-0, still the score.
Yeah, and I mean, ahead, they have a lineup that they, you know, other than the Morphling, pretty much everybody on their team is very early to mid game focused, and I feel like they could be using these heroes more to gank. They tried for that gank in the middle lane, but it's one of the hardest heroes to get, the Mirana. Even with the silence, as long as the Bane's behind her, the Nightmare, and you can dodge a fair amount of damage there, and yeah, I just feel like they should be sending these supports top and going for the kills there, because as long as they have detection, Lolik is a pretty easy kill.
Yeah, that is definitely true. He's level 5. He is getting catching up a little bit on last hits, but he's still very far below what he normally is. I'm not gonna say what he should be, because to be honest, he was up against a very difficult lane, so he did not die on his lane, which is probably the best that you can ask him of that aggressive tri lane.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Centaur actually looks to be, oh god, don't scare me like that. He was double edging a creep camp to death, and he now has his blink dagger up. Moonlight Shadow actually coming up. What are they gonna try to achieve with that one?
I'm not sure, but it was easily spotted off as Lolik was actually Lolik was in range of creeps when that was used, so maybe they were using it just to try and get past wards, I think, on the bottom lane. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty long cooldown for it. I feel like that's not worth it.
Look
for
at
them.
Necroman being all scared and stuff. I like that they ate the way through the trees.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah,
is
that's
under
actually a
attack.
really nice juke spot. That's I've seen a couple people talk about that. Is that you can eat your way through those trees and then jump away through there and like, hide in there and stuff.
I like it. We have got a smoke gang coming out for top. Lakoyet, Screen, and Seema going top with the first Blink Dagger Centaur gank. They just need a target. Of course, Kappa is going to be the bait there. As an arrow actually comes out in the Skywrath Mage. That's not intended. The stomp, the jump. Actually, they want to go for the Marana. The snowball coming in. Punch is not going to happen because he's not level 6 yet. He's only level 5 just now after that kill. Still though, they get Marana, which I really thought Marana was aiming for the arrow to hit in the Morphling. Obviously, she didn't know the smoke was there.
Under attack.
Kind of surprise kind of thing.
Yeah, she sent it just before the smoke was dispelled. So yeah, completely. That arrow hits on completely the wrong person. It ends up costing her life, and it looks like a head will try for this up here.
Dire's top tower. is
Seema
under
has to be
Oops.
running away, taking quite a large beating here, but he's gonna just get experience here. He's already used his Blink Dagger, there's no surprise element to that anymore, while the rest of his team is basically
Dire's
4
top
manning
tower
and wants to
is
create
under
some map
attack.
control by taking down this tower. And of course, make
Dire's
sure that the
structures
Templar
are
Assassin's
fortified.
life is gonna be even worse than it already was.
Yeah, Templar Assassin, she's been struggling a fair amount. This is definitely not a snowball game for her. She's going to be struggling as far as farm. At the very least, Yamaha, he's had a fair
Dire's
amount of
top
farm,
tower is under
and so
attack.
does the Timbersaw. That's one thing that's kind of the secret weapon right now overhead, because nobody has touched this Timbersaw the entire game. He's right up there as far as the top of the last hits and denies is concerned, and you know, he's already got his arcane boots. He's got 1600 gold on top of this, but he needs to do a lot of mid-game work for this team.
Yeah, he
And
does.
soon.
There's a lot of pressure on him to be... Because you said it on the first game, that he, in terms of role in a game, can be compared to the Centaur. Centaur, he's got what he needs. He's got his Blink Dagger, and he's level 8. So he's done. Timbersaw needs a little bit more time. The question is, if that extra time where he is indeed left alone for the moment, is it going to be enough for him to be fulfilling the same kind of role as the Fiend's Grip comes out in the Morphling? He's still morphing into strength though. No teleports, and now the teleports come in. Thank you. Morphling will be fine. Jump forward, stomp. They want to go for stretch. Double Edge coming out as well. Morphling still here. Doesn't have mana for a wave from it. I don't think he needs it. Brain Step coming out. It's not going to matter. First, or last hit rather, is going to go to the Skywrath Mage as Tusk actually kills off the Wind Ranger, while Tusk himself goes down to Marana. Moonlight Shadow used as the mid lane had a 1-for-1, which favors, in my opinion, the Tusk.
Yeah, I would say that definitely favors the Tusk. He's very kill heavy early on, and he gets the kill first as well. So he gets himself in phase boots from that. That'll help with the damage scaling on the Walrus Punch. But yeah, for the moment, it looks like ahead they do get those kills that they sorely needed, and that was just an example there of how right now ahead aware they don't have really enough damage. This Morphling, they went on them his Fiend's Grip.
Yeah.
Haycon went on him with the Chakram, and he was regenning health. He was getting more health than they were doing damage to him, and that's just level 1 Chakram, not enough damage at this stage.
Yeah, level 4, of course, on the morph, so that's pretty strong as well. And to be honest, that's not really a good target to go for. Snowball, stress, stomp coming out, punch as well. That is going to be the Bane dead. The Timbersaw dropped as well. That's the first time that he died before he gets something else next to his mana boots. This could be the start for him to start struggling in this game, because This is the point where Ahead is gonna start making their lineup work for them. They've got the mechanism on the Viper now as well, which is the first item that he went for. They are ready for their 5-man Dota kind of lineup, and you know, one of these lineups normally, you know, it's a bit of a do it or die, because if the push gets stopped, then you're not really sure what to do. But that's okay. They've got late game insurance by having picked up a Morphling.
Yeah, and this Morphling isn't struggling by any stretch of the imagination. He's got the most last hits, he's right at the top of the net worth, he's already picked himself up a Ghost Scepter. Now, he's not exactly especially farmed, I don't think anybody is in this particular game, it's just the way these lanes are, and the fact that, you know, a lot of people are trying for kills, but not quite getting them, so a lot of people are spending their time going back to base, etc. But right now, Aware, they don't have much online. The only thing they have is this Timbersaw, so he needs to be coming online for them right now, because nobody else does damage on their team right now. Maybe the Mirana can do, but she has to land an arrow for that. Otherwise, she's, you know, just very average as far as damage is concerned. The Windrunner has nothing, the Bane doesn't have a huge amount, he's mostly there for disable, and Lolik has no items.
He's going for drums, I do like that. Looks like Aware is going to try to secure themselves some extra gold by taking down a tower. So far, there's of course 2 towers down on the side of Aware. And I think this is the best decision they could have made, because despite them not having the best pushing lineup, they're not getting kills either. So this is probably the best thing they can do. They actually, Moonlight Shadow, they know that this tower is going to get some defense incoming. They're going to try to wrap around. Lolik is already having his drums ready. He's going to try to go for maybe someone, or at least make sure this tower doesn't get the Knight. Nope, doesn't get the Knight. And will get taken by the Wind Ranger. The Snowball comes in though. The Timbersaw still dies. Nightmare coming out in the Viper, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team of the Viper is here, and that's going to be Bane dead as well. Lolik and Roger running for their lives. Should be making it out there. Seema, he doesn't have his ulti, he already blinked, so he's not going to catch up. But they lost 2 heroes for taking down a tower, which, you know, is great. But the tower went to the Wind Ranger, which is not the one that you want your major amount of gold up, major pool of gold up. It's the Timbersaw that is the one that died again, and he actually picked up an ultimate orb as his first item after boots, which is ambitious.
I think he's going Sheepstick?
I think so,
That's
yes.
very ambitious.
It's
I
ambitious,
mean, it's
for
ambitious
sure.
to go for Bloodstone, but at the very least, he would have 1,000 gold already sort of tied up in his arcane boots. You can disassemble those and just turn it into the Bloodstone. So that's a fair amount off the price of it. But yeah, that money on the Wind Ranger, it means basically nothing. It's going to be wards. It's all it's going to be turned into.
It's important.
Maybe upgrades, but yeah, it's important to have wards. But I think she would have had the money anyway if somebody else had got it. And yeah, this Timbersaw, it was great focus fire there, just from Ahead. They initiated straight onto the Timbersaw. They knew exactly who they wanted. They didn't even try for the TA or anyone like that at the start, because they're harder to kill because of the refraction charges, despite being way squishier than this Timber. But yeah, I mean, Ahead, they just have control of this game right now, and this Morphling is not being shut down at all. He's going to be at the top of this. That said, at the very least, Yamaha on the Mirana here, he's not being touched too much either. He's actually gone up to the top of the net worth now, but it's a Mirana. It does not scale as well.
Stampede coming off, Hakon again the target, double edge. This Timbersaw is not going to be doing much this game. They get him killed first, kill off the Bane second. Lolik, his refraction doesn't mean anything, doesn't get the kill on the Tusk either, and that's the Mystic Flare picking him off. Mirana actually coming in, regretting her decision and leaping back out, but that's 3 for 0. They'll take the tower here for Ahead as well. And Ahead is really pulling forward in this game. We're gonna have the gold graph. I mean, it was in their favor for a long time. Then they lost some momentum by losing the tower bottom and losing some momentum, but losing the tower top, of course, as well. But they take it back. They now have no tier 1 tower standing on Aware anymore, and the experience graph kind of shows the way that this game is feeling like it's going.
Yeah, and the thing for me is that, you know, even though the Mirana, she is right at the top of the net worth, that doesn't matter so much because Mirana's damage scaling is not particularly great. She could, you know, she could be missing all that gold and she'd still do basically just as much damage. She's going to pick up a Yasha now. It's nice, but it's no major damage item, and very shortly this Morphling is going to have an E-Blade. And when that E-Blade comes out, what can Aware do? They don't have any way of dealing with this. They're going to get bursted down very quickly. They're all still fairly squishy. I mean, they can use it on the TA maybe will survive, and that's pretty much going to be it because of refraction. And they have ways of burning through that refraction. They have the Viper, of course, is pretty much entirely damage over time. And the Skyearth Mage, and yeah, they know that this is coming. They're grouping up. Morphling, he's not here, but he's TPing.
Nick Templar Assassin is... Oh god, they know he's there. Do they have detection is the question? Oh, stress. He's gonna be the first target there. Still gets a brain stop off, but gets punched and dies just like Roger does. Wind Ranger dead as well. Lolik puts up a refraction again. He does have a meld. Will be forced to teleport out, but he is not gonna be able to. Adept the Strike will interrupt him, and Roshan is not gonna get the last hit. Mirana doesn't have a leap up to maybe try and steal it, and we'll just try to leap out. This is gonna be a Roshan going the way of... Oh, careful there. Nice arrow. But Timbersaw was actually on the chase. Doesn't get the kill. Timbersaw on the chase. He Timber chained over the pit to try and get the Aegis, of course, but he didn't get it. It is possible.
Yeah, he
to
tried
get
his
that
best there to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is doable, but not exactly easy. You can even drop wards and stuff in there. I've done that before. I've timber chained over the pit and put a ward in somebody's inventory to try and block them from getting the Aegis, but they just used it and picked up the Aegis, so I felt stupid.
Yeah, that sounds a bit stupid. But yeah, Aegis to the Morphling.
Sounded good when I tried to do it. Like, I remember saying to my friends and being like, oh yeah, I'm sure this will work. And they were like, alright, go on then. And then it's just, yeah, it's useless. But yeah, they get the Aegis on the Morphling. He obviously, I mean, that's going to be a great item on him, not just because, you know, it's a Morphling, and he's your carry and you always want your Aegis on your carry, but also because he's fairly squishy, he's very bursty, he's going to use up a lot of mana, so he can basically go in completely ham in the middle of a fight now, use up everything, and then know that even when he dies, he's still going to come back with full mana, full HP, and he'll probably be able to get out there fine as well. And I feel like Aware are just kind of falling apart at this point.
Yeah, Bane dead again. Doesn't really have a fun game for him. He's 1-6-0. Of course, it is a 14-3 overall, so it's pretty one-sided in terms of kills. But I mean, what do you think you can contribute this to? Because is this laning? Is this Timbersaw? Is this picking? What is this? Well, how come this is happening to Aware?
I feel like the problem with their lineup is that, you know, they didn't put their Bane up on the top lane, and it was nice to be able to shut down Necroman. That's great. But it's a Viper that you're shutting down in the laning stage. He's still going to farm up as soon as you leave him alone for 5 minutes versus the Mirana. He did do that exactly. He got himself up a mech already. He's already achieved as much as he needs to in this game. He's got himself a mech. And yeah, they should have just laned the Bane at the top. Maybe they would have had more chance in that lane.
Oh, arrow hits
arrow goes onto
screen. Do they want to go in for this? I don't think they do. No, they don't. Fiend's Grip still comes out in the centaur, but he is going to be living through it all, while Stress is going to be the one to be... Oh, hard press and PKB turned on. They actually get the kill. Dominant Streak goes to the Timbersaw. Perhaps they can chase down some more. Mechanism gets used though. Necroman still slowing down Aware. And maybe a turn and burn incoming as a snowball charges for Lolik. Punched as well. That's going to be Lolik dead. Bane, Roger, all still alive, but for how much longer? Stress puts himself in the nightmare, but it's only delay of execution. I feel like one more hit. There we go. Luckily yet on the killing spree. Roger, he is going to get initiated upon if he's not careful. Seema actually bought back and wants to get some revenge for him dying. Tusk still ended up going down in that engagement, by the way, so that is something that they got there, but it's still going to be something that, or a fight that Aware did not win, and they're gonna lose their tower as well as the fight as an arrow will fly. This time it misses every kind of target. Shackle, Morphling into trouble. Aegis gone, will be respawning, full health, full mana, and I'd say careful, Aware, because in comes the rest. That's gonna be a double edge, and the Morphling we from over the top to get the kill. Seema might be in some trouble. Doesn't have a blink for the moment, doesn't have a shackle latching either, but is still gonna go down. Nicely done. Still a favorable trade for Ahead, because even though Centaur is a very important part of the lineup of Ahead, it is not their main core carry, while Mirana is right now one of the only hopes for Aware.
Yeah, and the thing is the Centaur has everything he needs this game. He's got a BKB as well, which is a little bit of an unusual choice, but it's nice for him. But yeah, this Mirana, she just needs more items at this point. She needs some serious damage coming out from her. They need it on the TA as well, and they need this Hex coming out from Hakon. Now, he is farming up towards this, so this is good for him, and he was actually the one to take out the Centaur, I believe, at the start of that fight. But yeah, he's the real key for them, because they need some way of locking down and dealing with this Morphling, and otherwise they really don't have it. Outside of maybe Fiend's Grip, they just don't have anything that will lock him down for long enough. Maybe a really nice arrow, but that's pretty unlikely, and yeah, I still feel like the problem for Aware is that just maybe this Timbersaw just didn't go early enough. You know, he just didn't fight early enough. He stayed on the bottom lane pretty much all time.
Should he go for a different build, as we see him getting picked off again by the looks of things? He's trying to run for it, but he's out of mana, out of life. There we go. But should he have gone for a different kind of build? Because at some point we saw him sitting on 1600 gold and his mana boots. And he didn't buy anything, and from that point onward he started dying, so he couldn't finish up whatever he was planning on buying. He's still going for the Scythe of Ice by the looks of it, but at the rate this is going, it's not going to be done for another 10 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, Sight of Ice is a great item, but yeah, he had 1600 gold, and he was, you know, they were all pushing up, they were ready. At that point, he could have been very, very close to a mech. He could have had an extra, you know, VIP booster, could be working towards an Atos. And if you get just your VIP booster at that point, he's ready to fight and he's ready to kill. And the problem is that he decided he wasn't ready to fight and kill. He went for a different item build, and yeah, since then they just they haven't been able to fight for a while. It's been a long time since Aware really looked like they were able to get kills. I mean, they get the occasional pick off, but it's mostly on Ahead's mistakes.
Yeah, they were trying to get a pick off on Mirana, but the Stampede, or sorry, the Hoofstomp missed rather, and that's didn't turn into
Roger is going to get the courier here. I was very confused about its positioning. They do get the courier, but
they lose Bane.
Fight on the other side.
And perhaps even more, they know that the Timbersaw is there as well. They try to take him down. The Silas is there, but too late. At least, well, the Timber Chain still went off. He's going to make it back to base. As Centaur actually gets picked up by Mirana. That was on the bottom lane. Centaur still hung around there. This could be some trouble. I mean, they're picking up some big targets here. Courier is important for sure. There's now a Chrysalis up on the Templar Assassin. She figures, you know what, I am a squishy hero anyway. Might as well make it a glass cannon rather than just glass.
Yeah, I mean, I think a BKB would be a nice item for her, but the fact is that TA just doesn't do her job if she isn't doing some damage. And a BKB after Drum and Treads means you do completely, you know, negligible damage whatsoever. I'm surprised she didn't even go for maybe a Deso in a game like this, considering the stage they're at and the fact that Mirana is probably going to be doing most of their damage.
Yeah.
A Deso would have helped her. Maybe, you know, she just decided for a crit instead. I'm not sure what her logic is on that one, but the thing for me, right, and they're on the Dire side as well, so that'd be more helpful for getting Roche, but yeah, the thing for me is that even though they do occasionally get these important pickoffs, it's not while Ahead of 5-manning. There's no way that Aware can even slightly slow down Ahead when they're actually grouped up as 5.
Yeah, and they're actually having a plan as well. The Drawn came on the bottom lane. They want to try and take out the last outer tower of Aware, the tier 2. No surprises. Does look like Aware is desperate to control their own jungle again. Look at the wards in their own jungle. They've got 5 sentry wards in their own jungle and 2 observer as the center.
But bottom lane near the
Mirana
Ancient.
leaps away. Moonlight Shadow.
Lolik is out of position here, but he's going to be able to walk away here. That's pretty nice for him.
No detection.
Yeah, that's been an issue for Ahead this entire game.
The Centaur was carrying Dust earlier on, but he used both. So that's already a shame there, as Centaur actually picks up his vitality booster, so... Well, Scythe of Ice, a lot faster than what I was expecting. Could this be the turnaround item that Aware would need? Arrow flying, seeing Seema sitting there.
It has to be the turnaround item, because it's all they're going to get. And this, you know, they're going to go for the tier 2 here. If they don't defend this tier 2, if they don't fight soon, they're going to lose this game.
Seema with the BKB on. They try to take down Lolik. The sentry ward is standing right there. Lolik picked up. Roger stock killed off as well. Mechanism will keep him alive a little bit longer, but he'll still end up dead as well. Shackle screen to Laquayed. Too bad there's no real damage coming off in the meantime, because Hakon stress. Oh, Fiends get from the high ground, but already interrupted. That's going to be stress test as well. Hakon timber chaining away, as that is gonna be 3-4-0, and the tier 2 tower only now being attacked. Nice Aghanims for Viper, constantly spamming out that Viper strike as Mirana goes down to the Viper, even though Morphling did a large chunk of the damage there as well. But that's 4-4-0, and yeah, what's gonna stop Ahead at this point? It's not gonna be the Scythe of Ice, or at least Timbersaw can hex someone, but the moment he decides to go in, he's gonna get picked up. He doesn't even hex someone, he's gonna get punched and killed. Silent, dead. No hex was used that day. 5-man wipe.
Yeah. He used the hex initially at the start of the fight. He used it on the Morphling, but the fact is that everybody else went in. The Morphling just kind of sat back and went, alright, I don't need to do anything. And the fact is, Ahead have so much in the way of items. They're so far ahead.
Fun.
Oh, I didn't want to do it because I noticed you avoiding doing it earlier. But they really do. The gold lead is huge for them. They just have so much more in the way of core items. They have a 4 staff coming up now on the on the Scarith Mage. The only thing they're lacking really this game has been detection, and Roger is now going to go down to these two. It's going to be hard to kill him off, but I think they'll probably get him. Actually, no, Lolik is here.
Yeah, Lolik is trying his best to take down the Viper as the...
He's so tanky.
Yeah, but the Enfeeble is doing so much work here. This Viper is basically doing no damage whatsoever, and they have enough damage to take him down. In comes actually Centaur, stumps up on Lolik. Necroman in a nightmare for the moment. In comes Morphling helping out. Mechanism goes off. Necroman, all he can do is slow down stress. That's all basically he does. Oh, now he has damage again. Good job for him. He's actually going to get the kill. Revenge at last. Viper almost
is
died
chasing
in
the rest of the entire team.
Ooh, he's a very fast Piglet. Stomp. Doesn't hit. Doesn't even go for it. He has a gem as well, by the way, as Mirana actually gets picked up because Mirana was apparently too greedy. Tried to go for Necroman. Went down in the end. So that's going to be 3 dead for 0, even though they were so close and killing off 2 targets at that point. Both the Tusk and the Viper. Did they kill the Tusk? No, they didn't.
They did not kill the Tusk. He TP'd out when they saw the TA.
Yeah.
He just walked off. He just TP'd out. It's like,
Well,
nope, I don't need to be involved with this. And
He didn't.
yeah,
so-
ahead they're going to take Roche as well now. And Aware, they don't get any kills during that. So difficult situation for them, I feel.
Yeah, Morphling actually not checking in the pit for the ward, or for the trap rather. Yeah, they stopped
Yeah.
going for it.
Yeah, I guess they just decided, I mean, the one thing that's up for them now for Aware is that because so many of them are fairly low level, is they do respawn pretty fast, but
Yeah.
they're relying so much on this Hex
Oh,
to be
wow.
able to do much, and they don't have any damage to follow up the Hex, and
Look at the devil,
Weird
the
E-Blade
damage
here.
difference. Stun coming out, Lolik, Devil Edge, that's gonna be a kill right there. BKB for Seema, looking to run over some people with a Stampede. He is not gonna catch out Stress, or at least not running over him. The Snowball will hold Stress in place, and the death is still there, still eminent for that bait. I mean, he's been dying so much this game, it's so sad. Look at the level difference. Actually, oh, it just messed up a little bit. Mirana got level 14, but she was level 13 just a moment ago. And that actually made everybody of Ahead higher level than everybody of Aware. That was a bit sad. Although Mirana, I mean, yeah, she has got nice levels, or at least better than the rest of her teammates. She's not had a bad game at all. It's just that she's too much of a glass
she's not
cannon.
enough.
There's just so many.
She's not enough.
So many giant heroes on the side of Ahead. As well, Seema just missed his blink, and Roger will therefore be allowed to teleport out. Roshan still taken down by Aware. Even though Timbersaw is maybe planning on going for a steal again. He's gonna try the chakram for the vision. Timber chain over the Roche, as he's not gonna get the right positioning, the right angle. Nicely kited around by Morphling to make sure he was slightly out of the pit. So yeah, that's an Aegis going the way of Ahead, if anybody was wondering. Mirana leaps into the jungle, teleports out, and that's something that Viper cannot stop. By the way, Viper is going for a heart. Centaur is going for a heart.
They're just aiming to break base. They're just aiming to run up into the base, do it very brutally, let's be honest.
Yes.
If you're going for hearts and you're just aiming to literally run into the middle of the enemy base and use all your spells, it's not exactly that's not exactly a dagger. That's a hammer that you're using to break the base open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that strategy for them, but yeah, and Morphling is just so much stronger than anybody on their team right now. They're able to burst anybody.
Double kill for Kpa. He's sitting on 4,500 gold. Tusk is sitting on 4,100 gold. He now gets a Deso just straight off the bat.
That's a support, by the way. I
That's
know
a
you can't
support
tell
Tusk.
right now, but that is a support Tusk. And
Well, in terms
yeah,
of
that's
net
what I mean.
worth,
They're
he
so
is-
farmed.
He is not that farmed. Like, he's farmed. He was more
He's
farmed
above
than-
the TA.
But TA has had a crappy game, right? TA's got a Magicel.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not TA. TA's got a Chrysalis still. Sorry, he had that for a while.
I mean, she has got a...
Dire's middle tower
She's having a bad game. This
Yeah.
is not an easy game for her. And yeah, I mean, it's not like he's especially farmed, but because this game isn't even, he doesn't need to go for any support items. He doesn't need to worry about Force Staff or anything like that. He can go straight aggression, and the fact is they can blow up Aware way faster than Aware can even damage them. And ooh, nice Nightmare, but it doesn't even matter.
Nope, you're still getting shotgunned. A huge snowball. The stun still comes out. Roger's still in some trouble. Stampede as well. Roger, max up. Might be enough. In comes the Timbersaw, and the Hex on screen is actually making sure that he dies. Whoa, that Mystic Flare. Don't walk into that Wind Ranger, as Viper actually gets the last hit for that one. La Coyette Tower Not gonna kill him off, and the mechanism of Viper will keep him up a little while longer even.
Radiant's top tower is
Tusk
under
still
attack.
died, but Viper actually gets arrowed. He's too tanky though. Like,
They
and
can kill
Mirana knows
Yamaha
that.
here.
Yeah, they
Yamaha's
know
gonna
that.
die.
He is so dead. He is. He knew he
Greedy.
wasn't gonna be able to get the Viper. Fair enough. He's got a heart. But don't be so greedy to try and take down a Skywrath mage that is a support hero that is higher level than you are. Buyback, by the way, on Mirana and Timbersaw. So they do defend their racks in the end, as Hakon actually gets the Hex up on the Morphling, but Morphling being script as well for a staff. Perhaps a bit more safety. He's not morphing into strength, and he did not have his Aegis anymore, so he goes down. That's a beyond godlike streak gone. That's insane.
Yeah, and that's a lot of gold that goes towards this Timbersaw, but sadly the Timbersaw is not going to get enough damage to deal with this. They need that on the Mirana or the TA maybe. They're going to try and go for Necroman here, but he's so hard to kill.
Well, not anymore. This is
That's
too
another
godlike.
godlike
This
streak.
is Timbersaw all of a sudden with a 2500 extra gold. That is just Timbersaw. They're gonna make him pay for it though. Or can they? Moonlight
Are they?
Shadow coming out. Seema might be in some trouble. He has got a BKB and his heart ready, but this Timbersaw is filthy rich.
And
I
this
would
is
say
why
his
people pick
buyback
Timbersaw.
was worth it. Wouldn't you say?
Well worth.
Well worth it. I agree. That's a bought back Timbersaw that just got 25. Why does that never happen to me when I buy back? He's got
I mean-
25. Yeah, okay. So that's good. This could be a turnaround for Aware. They missed the arrow though. They do see Laquayette. They might be able to take something off the back of this. It's
They
still
need to try and
tricky,
get
though.
what they can.
Yeah,
This is an
they do.
opportunity they should not be getting, basically. This is
Indeed.
a mistakes by ahead there, and I mean, this Timbersaw is so rich now, and this is why people used to pick Timbersaw, because in an extended fight, he's going to get so much done. He got a ton done in that fight, lots and lots of damage put out. He's got a ton of extra gold. Now, he's still not tanky, though. He's actually building up a Yule's Scepter. I guess it's just another defensive item. I'm surprised he didn't decide to go for a Bloodstone, or maybe even Atos, or something for some HP at this point. I feel like he really does need that, but especially with the Morphling on the field, because Morphling can instantly burst him
Yeah.
still. He's still only got 1200 HP, but Morphling, he's going for a tankier build, actually. He's going for the Skadi, and well, ahead, I mean, they lose a lot from that. They still end up with their heart, though, on the Centaur. They still have a massive gold lead, a massive experience lead, and
Well, a little bit
they
of a
were
drop
knocking on the barracks a little bit. I mean, it's a fair amount that drops back, but it's still 15k.
Yeah, it is. It is not easy. It's just one extra hero, basically, if you look at the net worth. 15k is even more net worth than one hero has on Aware, as actually they scout Lolik out, because there's a gem right there. They don't have a gem anymore, though, or see, there's a ward right there. The gem got actually taken by Aware. So they have that, and they leave Lolik be, by the looks of things. Moonlight Shadow, oh, the dust coming out. Lolik still in some trouble. The Yules will be there. Nice shackle, though. Skywrath Mage stuck for the moment, but I don't think it matters for Lolik whatsoever. He gets punched and killed.
Yeah, and now they're just going to go in for the middle racks here. It looks like they haven't got much they can do.
Oh, that's Timbersaw dead. That
Goodbye,
was the
Hakon.
hope and dreams of Ahead. Just nuke down, just shotgun to death. I do like that they baited that Enfeeble out on the Morphling illusion, so Bane's Enfeeble didn't actually hit on Necroman this time and had hidden this illusion that Morphling made of him. And they'll take down one later axe. They'll take down a second. Kapon or Kapa will take an arrow to the face, but I don't think
I
it
mean,
matters. He has a
It
Skadi
doesn't matter at this
well.
point.
This is probably the result that is gonna happen from what we were expecting a while back. Punched. Queen script. Dead. Yeah, this is a bit of a massacre, if you ask me. Amarana actually tries to run away from a base. Jeez.
Kapara is an arrow magnet
She's
right
gonna be a
now.
hermit.
He is getting hit by everything. Oh. Can she make it away? Seems like she's made it. I think she knows,
Adios.
but
Oh no. Not a chance. She has a
Run,
leap
Yamaha.
again though. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter.
I mean, Kapar gets himself stuck in trees, but I feel
Worth
like that's
it.
well worth it. Yeah, the BM that's going on right now, Aware,
GG
they
call.
call it, it's GG well play, and I think that's perfectly fair. At this stage of the game, they just didn't have enough early on, and the real issue for me is that they just never did anything with their duel lane. They never decided to focus on getting farm on their TA, and you can't have a TA who doesn't get any farm, right? That's just not a doable position.
Not at all. I mean, they had two dual lanes, or did they have to do? Yeah, they had two dual lanes
Yeah.
from the start. They didn't get anything done on either of their dual lanes, and at some point I think Timbersaw would have been just fine if he was by himself, and then Windranger could
Well, they
have
had the
helped somewhere
Bane with the
else.
Mirana in the mid
Yeah,
to
but
shut
Mirana
down the
could have been by
Viper.
herself as well, I think. Bane could be
Yeah.
top as well.
It's not like the Mirana is going to farm well versus the Viper. She's not going to die either, though. And the thing with Mirana is that she can be a good carry, but as we talked about in the draft, she can be a support, so she doesn't need that much in the way of items. Just getting her the levels from mid and getting her the minimum requirements is okay. But if you leave your TA on the top lane, she does nothing other than physical damage. She has no disables, really. She needs to get that farm early on, and they just never secured that. I feel like that was a mistake from Aware, just never to secure the farm on the Templar Assassin, or to try and deal with the Morphling aggressive tri-lane, which is very unusual.
Yeah, but it worked out brilliantly. I mean, he was able to shut down that Templar Assassin from farming. Oh, I'm clicking outside of the game because there's a stupid chakram with the sound in game. But, I mean, he was able to shut down the Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin didn't do that much this game, or anything at all. Mirana wasn't able to do the full carry potential hero that she had to be at some point. That was the only choice, the only option that they have left. And maybe if Timbersaw was more active earlier, they could have made a change, could have made a difference. But overall, just well played by Ahead. Had a plan,
Yeah,
stuck
a
to
solid
it,
game for
and
Ahead.
Skywrath Mage actually never died.
Yes, Gareth Major, I looked at his stats like halfway through the game, and he was destroying for them, so
Yes.
that was a smart pickup for them. Despite picking up unusual heroes, yeah, they seem to have a good game plan in head.
They did. Well, that's gonna mean that Aware is still gonna not have any won games in this tournament. Ahead now has one game, which is great for them, but they still, of course, are then second last in the group stages for the excellent Moscow Cup, which is what you have been watching today. Tomorrow we will be back with more games. Let's take a quick look at what is coming for us. On Tuesday, we've got the Retry versus Relax, Virtus.pro versus Aware, and Virtus.pro versus Relax. So those will be our games tomorrow. Make sure you tune in because the game should be good, especially Relax versus Virtus.pro. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and on Twitch. Where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/setmygibs, and Jibs is spelt with a double B because I can't spell.
Fair enough. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Cheever Gaming or on Facebook at Cheever Gaming, where I'm trying to post more, but it's not really working out as intended yet. But follow just in case I do manage to succeed that plan. Thank you for watching. As said, make sure to tune back in tomorrow and have a great evening. Bye bye.